Hello Aries, how are you? Today is June 2nd, 2020. In Italy today is the Festa della Repubblica, which means it's the day that they kicked out the monarchy and gave the power to the people. So I mention that because it's going to come up a little bit later. Now, actually, I'm going to talk at the beginning about the energy. So while I talk, I'm going to shuffle. First, I'm going to pull 3 cards for what should we be doing. Lay them out here. And then I'll go through my usual placements here. But I want to talk about the current energies that are going on right now in your life, but also on a mundane level. So it's no accident that there's a lot of freedom stories over the summer, right? The U.S.'s Independence Day is July 4th. France is July 14th. Italy's is June 2nd, because the eclipses are famous for change of power, for overturning power. In fact, they were so famous that ancient China had a set of astrologers. This is a legend. We don't know if it's true, but it's been repeated so many times that it is true. He had 2 astrologers on staff, and they missed an eclipse, and so he had them beheaded because it's a changing of power, and most leaders lose their jobs. Now, the energy that we're seeing play out in the United States is probably playing out in your life too, in a different way. And I'm going to talk about it in essence, right? So we'll use the keywords, not exactly what's going on. But somewhere in your life, it's likely that someone has made a decision for you about something that is yours, right? It could be your time. It could be your love. It could be your energy. In this decision, they have taken away your power, right? And they have left you feeling powerless. And while this is a new situation that's coming up, so this current situation of your power being taken away will be new, it's going to dust up a lot of your power issues from the past. And for a while, you will have thought that you'd gotten over it. You will have thought that this situation wouldn't come up again. And if it did come up again, that it wouldn't bother you, because you probably have even done some work on issues around it. And so it seemed like, nah, this won't happen again. Or if it does happen again, I won't respond the way I did in the past. However, because of the energies right now, it's going to make you feel suffocated, right? Like you have no choice, boxed in, no options, pushing against an immovable force. Now, in our case, most of us will have options. And a few months ago, I believe one of the readings we looked at, and I'll go through these later, one of the readings we looked at talked about finding a third way, right? That there was this way of doing it and that way of doing it, but then there was also a third option. Now, what Pluto is teaching us right now, and for anyone who has planets at Aries, 24 Aries, 24 Libra, 24 Cancer, you're on the hot seat right now. My moon is there, so so like I said, it's dusting up old emotional issues for me. Oh, this isn't the deck I wanted, sorry. What Pluto is trying to teach you is a new way to power, right? So he's trying to use the old way of taking your power away so that you feel powerless, so that you will find a new way to reclaim your own power. right? So it's not about becoming the old power. It's about a new iteration of it and discovering that within your life. So whatever you have done in the past, however you have responded to it in the past, is not the right answer. Is forgiving the right answer? No. Is becoming the power, becoming the same power that's causing this feeling in you, the answer? No. The answer is to find your way of feeling 100% within your power and able to make the right decision for you, and taking it back from who's taken it from you and moving forward in a completely new direction. Now, since we're in eclipse season, and there's 3, and the eclipse on July 5th is the last one of the Cap Cancer series, you'll be figuring out over the next month, a situation is going to come to a head. Remember I said can't breathe, and there's that breathe upside down. The situation is going to come to a head over the next few weeks, if it has not already. In my case, it has already. And I have been figuring out, and part of my situation of me being completely stuck and why I've been MIA for the past time is that I don't know what's the right thing to do because I've never done it before. And so when you're stuck, that's because you're trying to figure out the new direction, what can I do here? I can't do what I've done in the past. I can't do what they're doing. I have to do something new that's reflective of me, that puts me in my power, but in a way that's authentic and strong. Well, I'm talking about my own situation. Usually what happens is, so I have right now I have the Pluto squaring my moon, and I have been reacting out of the moon. And I have a moon Uranus opposition. So that's a dangerous little triangle right there. My 3 options here, right, are to get angry because that's my moon in Aries, blow the whole situation up, which is my Uranus in Libra, or become Pluto in Capricorn, go to the authorities, right? And now in my particular situation, going to the authorities, which actually is a lawyer, because is the only way to deal with what's going on. So out of those 3 options, remember I said find the third way, there's sort of like a T-square going on. Your answer is whatever this situation that's taken away your power, and it can be love, it can be work, it can be political, it can be energetic, it can be family, whatever. Wherever you feel powerless, stuck, and blocked right now, the situation will likely come to a head over the next month. And your challenge, your job, is to assume the energy, the Pluto energy. Not necessarily the destructive nuclear war energy, but the clever, how do I stand in my power energy. And hold on, I wrote down something. Sometimes I take notes while I'm walking around the house. Yes, okay, so the summary here is, what's it going to take to get you to stand up and take your power back without becoming the power that's taken your power away? So that's the question that's going on right now. And it's a moment of freedom. It's a moment of liberation, as you've seen. It's a moment of people saying enough is enough. Finally. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner, to be perfectly honest. But this will also be echoing in your own life. Now, remember also the key of non-attachment, right? So my first instinct was, no, I don't want to lose these people. So maybe we can work it out. And after multiple attempts of trying to work it out, at the end of the day, they were just making me look foolish and playing me. So at that point, then you got to say, okay, you know what? Enough. I've been nice. This is enough. And now I take over this situation. And that's what's happening. The same will happen to you somewhere in your life. Look for it. So, I want to get all the cards out on the table and then let's talk. So anyway, the first eclipse is on the 5th. It's in Gemini Sagittarius. We are now, and this, sorry, I probably should have said this at the beginning. Well, this is the reading for the first half of June. We're in Mercury shadow, so there's another retrograde. This year's insane. Okay. Oh, sorry. 27 home. And these cards have been coming up for us quite frequently. Lovers is new. I haven't seen the Lovers in a while. In the challenge spot, no doubt. And that's about choices, right? Number 5, which is a choice point. So what do? What consequences are you willing to deal with to stop feeling in this isolation? Interesting. Also, this one came up a while ago. Follow the leader, right? About finding the path forward. Remember, before it was it was reversed when it came up for us the last time. Now, I don't usually use this deck because I don't like the way it shuffles, but I kept picking it up by accident today, so I'm going to assume that was a sign. And get 3 more cards here. Ten of Swords. Two more cards, please. Star card. Nice. So sort of after the storm, the new hope. One more card, please. Look at all that blue that's on the table, right? So this is very 5th chakra energy. It's about speaking up. It's about no longer swallowing what you want to say. You know, it's about that breath, letting it flow, coming out of isolation. Stop keeping to yourself. Oh, did I say 5 before? I meant 6. Saws. It's about to get yourself out of this feeling of being trapped, right? In isolation. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. To get the energy flowing again, moving again. And then 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 came out anyway. You know, to stop feeling trapped in the home and to be able to see the way forward. You know, there's a lot of really suffocating energy here. In isolation, can't breathe, 10 of Swords, trapped in this home because this home doesn't really look welcoming, does it? I mean, it looks solid and sturdy and like you wouldn't be able to break into it, but it also doesn't look very welcoming. 10 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, and we have sort of like 3 options. There's that 3 again, and that's why the 3s keep coming up. Remember, we've been having 3s in the readings, like playing so strongly. It's about that, the 3 parties, right? What's the third way? If I've done it this way before, if I've done it that way before, what is the third way that can lead me forward to something new, right? And do I have to be the one who leads the path? Do I have the vision, the belief, the hope, the idea in all of this pain and this feeling of misery, right? Because it's a weird card to come up. You have the Star in the middle of the Ten of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, which is it's like a strong energy of destitution. It's as powerless as you get, these two cards, right? I've got no money, no material ability to make anything happen. It's the destitution, and I'm just done. I don't have any more energy. I've got nothing left. I feel trapped, isolated. I feel like I can't breathe. I can't see the way out of here. And then there's these two cards. Now this one comes up here, the Lover's card, in the challenge position. But what this card reminds us of, and this is sort of like, this is where I was yesterday. What are my options? What are my choices? What can I do? And what are the consequences of those choices? And I went through all the various things. Now, the problem is that when someone consistently takes your power away from you, what they do, the mistake that they make, the error in judgment, is that they don't realize that when you put someone, a person, people, a group, whatever, in a position where they have nothing to lose, then they lose nothing to act, right? So after putting someone in a position where they feel like they can't breathe, they feel like they're isolated, they're stuck and can't get out, no energy, destitute, can't see the path forward, but have a dream in their heart. And this is enough, right? The Star is enough. That's why it's in the center of this reading. You put them in a position where they start weighing up their choices. And remember, this is about the fall of man, the original sin, right? And it was, do you want to stay here in the Garden of Eden, or do you want to go, have that piece of fruit and go and explore and expand? And they did what they did. They made their choice, and there's consequences to that. Now, there are also consequences to people taking away your power to a certain point where eventually you will rise up and shine, carrying what, it's like, this is the only, well, these are the two. This one is the key major arcana here, that despite everything that's here, there is hope and there is a big vision. And remember, the Star card is the Aquarius card. Saturn is in Aquarius. He's going to go back into Capricorn for a minute, but this is where we talk about what's right with humanity, what's right with society, what's right with our tribe, where we stand up and represent, and about having a bigger vision for what's possible for all of us. Now, I want to read this because it keeps like nagging at me. So hang on. Let's see what else it has to offer here. Okay, interesting. Inertia, laziness, and apathy are signs not of slowing down, but of decay and lifelessness. Wake up and do something to shake this off. Go outside for some air. A walk in nature will remind you that all of life is ensouled and magical. Get some exercise, move out of your head and into your body, and breathe in deeply. Each breath is precious. Okay, so yes, so for those of you who are feeling literally run over by a truck by 2020, you are not alone. This is a very, very, very intense moment. Very intense. It's going to get more intense this June-July eclipse season. But I think what you're going to start seeing is, the eclipses shake things up, and they do that for a reason. They interrupt the stagnation of the electromagnetic patterns. So it's like things are moving, and this is why the leaders were always terrified for them, because things moved perfectly. An object in motion stays in motion unless impacted by an external force, right? So the eclipses are an interruption of electromagnetic patterns in the universe, and that inevitably brings change, right? And a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was even the last reading, I was talking about, no, it was 2 readings ago, about hidden dynamics working in your favor, right? And this is what this sort of star card says to me, that right now the heavens are working on breaking up this current situation of powerlessness. It will likely bring more choice points. You know, do you want to go this way or do you want to go that way? But you will be, I believe, between this and this, you know, because this was the choice of, do you want to go out of the garden or do you want to stay in the garden? So this is going to help you understand what your choices are and how you can get out of sort of being locked in this house. Now, obviously, for some, this is a pandemic situation of, you know, you feel trapped in isolation in your home. For others, this is an energetic situation. Well, for almost all of us, it will be an energetic situation where somewhere we feel trapped. And it may be trapped within a family, trapped within a marriage, trapped with siblings, trapped by familial patterns. Certainly the situation that I have going on dusts up my past with my own father, you know, so it's like the home where home feels suffocating and like a prison and not a welcoming place, where home takes all of your energy and actually leaves you feeling more destitute than welcome. There is an energy at work here, right here in the center, that's trying to, remember the star pours water into she has the foot in. Let me, before I start talking shit, let me make sure that I have, because she's pouring water. There's 2 things in the star. Sorry, I know this is boring watching me flip through here, but it's the symbolism of it is important, because it's kind of like pouring letting new water flow. Yeah, I was confusing it with the temperance there. Of course, it's going to be the last card. No, all right. So I was right. It's about, you know, feeding two different elements. She pours water into the pool and also pours water into the earth, which then runs into the pool. So it's about nurturing different things and choices, right? What are the choices? What 2 things can I water? Hold tight to this sort of overall vision that you have. You see, because she's kind of like above. She's risen above. She's on a different planet, on a different level. So it says to me that, again, there's energies that are going on that are above us, beyond perhaps our ability to see, that are working to have new energies flow to us, right? I would suggest, if you can, get to water. If you can, get in nature, to just go and sit wherever and just breathe for 15 minutes. Feel like if you can meditate, or even if you have a balcony, if you're not allowed out of your house or whatever, if you have a balcony, go outside and soak in the sun. Soak in and breathe. as much as you can. Fill your lungs with oxygen and be very conscious that your energy expands much, like way far beyond your physical being, right? The so-called meat suit that we occupy while we are on this planet. That you are an infinite being, right? Much like this person, that you expand beyond the immediate physical dimensions with which you occupy. And that sense, get into that space to feel that sense of freedom, feel that sense of immensity, to then come back and look at this sense of destitution, powerlessness, isolation, entrapment, to then actually, from a very sort of centered, optimistic, big picture kind of way, speak even to yourself about what your options really are about finding the way out. Okay, so it's not a drown in the energy moment. It's a this energy is inevitable moment. The question is now using the tricks, quote unquote, that we have at our disposal to be able to navigate our way out of a very complex moment in time. I want to get one advice card here. You know, so it's really about switching up the energy, and you may not be able to do it. It's going to be an internal job. You have to switch up the energy internally because the outside world's going to be looking like crazy for a while. So in order for you to be able to be the leader, find that path out, it's really going to be a matter of this sort of triangle here. Understanding your choices, that understanding first and foremost that you have choices. Okay, so if you feel like you're in a situation without options, there is an option. Just assume there is an option and look for it. Keeping in mind a bigger vision for yourself, for humanity, for your tribe, for what is possible, and allow yourself to tap into universal energies. Breathe in as much as you can to break from these sort of chains of entrapment that are going on right now. Because there is, you know, this is kind of the last card here. And look, this has been peeking out. So it's, I'm going to say, like, from a symbolic point of view, it's well hidden. The sun card is well hidden. And it's at the bottom of the deck. But it's the one that's kind of peeking out. And here's another one that's peeking out. And it's the Two of Cups. Right? So, which is also this Lovers thing. So there is a solution. There is a way to get back to this place. It's not there yet because it's in another deck and it's hidden. But there is, you see, like I was saying, this is the last card, but then there were two more cards there. So the way forward does lead to a new day and peace. A new form of exchange, giving new light to new partnerships, whatever they are. Again, business relationships, romantic relationships, power issues. All of this is helping find the path out to lead to these two cards that are right now seem an impossibility and are far-reaching, but we're still hanging out there trying to be seen. I'm going to put them right there. So let me get an advice card here, and then we'll do the last three. Advice, please, for my Aries, first half of June. Okay. And like I said, this is a lot of fifth chakra energy, so do a lot of work on your fifth chakra here. Okay, and here's another blue that came out. So this is Ascended Master Hilarion and Green Chrysoprase. Discernment. Interesting. And that, remember, discernment is a choice. So it's really about choices right now. We bring you the blessing of discernment. There's an expression that all that glitters is not gold, and that appearances can deceive. This does not mean you must greet the world and all its appearances with suspicion and distrust. It does mean it is wise to trust what you feel and sense happening beneath the surface, even if that seems to directly oppose what is being said or what many others may believe. The world is filled with opportunities for you to practice sensing truth behind the mask, right? So that was kind of like what I was saying here, that it appears there are no options. It appears there are no solutions, but there are. They may not be, just like these two cards, they're not immediately visible, but they're there. You have to, now initially I saw those two cards. I didn't pick them up because I was like, no, it doesn't have to do with it, but it does. So it's kind of like some seemingly insignificant detail may actually be the key to sort of unlocking this energy. Okay, you will do this most accurately when you allow your instincts and intuition to inform you without rationalizing the information so it matches the superficial appearance of things. If intuition or instinct is niggling at you, then it is trying to communicate something. Listen. Take time to feel for your authentic response. Discernment helps you cut through illusion, manipulation, and deception and get to the heart of the matter at hand. It is the intelligent use of your intuition and instinct that will help you navigate through the multitude of choices available to you every day and choose what best serves your life journey. Okay, so this is, at the end of the day, extremely tight. It's hard for you to see the way out right now because you're in a really tightly closed energetic space. But you do have options and there is a solution. It might, excuse me, it might be hidden. You know what I said? It was funny because I was talking with another reader about when we choke on camera, and sometimes I do it because I have allergies and sometimes it's real. And I was saying I'll have to pay attention to that because if I've managed to get through a reading and I don't choke and then all of a sudden I do choke, that's obviously something important. So I was options, right? There are options. It's really going to be about voicing them, about using your voice to explore your options. So even if you have to like speak them out loud, it's about really finally putting into the universe in a vocal, in a fifth chakra way, what's bothering you, but also what you want, right? Like verbalizing this star energy, understanding the choices involved in the lovers, right? What's your sun? What's your two of cups? What's the way forward? What's the way? Just like talk maybe to yourself as much as possible. One of the tricks that I used to use when I would have a hard time understanding what I feel about situations, I would put like a recorder on and just free talk, like not even listen to myself, not try and make sense, just go. And in there can often be little nuggets of information because you're kind of working together with your higher self. So it's really about finding a way to breathe your way out of this current feeling of suffocation and destitution, and then really understand using your voice and your breath work to realize that there are new ways forward. Okay, let's read these. So if you picked this card, and now the way I had intended these is right now we're all like, what do I do? I feel like that's the question that everyone feels very stuck and very powerless, and nobody knows what to do. So I had intended these with, here's what you're being asked to do. And this group here gets Master Jesus, forgiveness. You are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. And I was just like, something just came to my mind about, it's sort of a Zen idea that every time you allow something from the past to hurt you, you keep it alive. But if you forgive it, you free it you free yourselves from the chains of that wound. And so I would say that for this group, and look at that blue, again with the blue, it's a matter of forgiving something that was said, forgiving some old words that are still stuck in your heart, that are keeping you there and have now like grown into things around you, and letting them go so they can release, right? I sort of see like this coming up, and like give it to a higher power. Whatever these words were that hurt you, give them to a higher power so that they can be transmuted into different energy. Okay. This one is hope and is about love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. Interesting. I was getting pretty religious there at the end. And holy shit. And the last one is the Holy Spirit. Expect miracles. So remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. So it's rather odd that we have, and she's not Mary Magdalene because they have like a proper card for that. But these are sort of the cornerstones, of all religions. Jesus has a different name, and other ones, the spirits have a different name. But there is we are being called on right now to sort of go to the universal rule, right? Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Keep hope that there is a way, and believe what's possible, and believe that there are options. Really, more than anything else, believe that there is a way to get to here, even though right now it feels like this, right? And again, I want to add one more thing. I was talking about non-attachment before. If you're having like relationship issues and there's a whole relationship that you should walk away from, and this message of no, you can get to there is encouraging you to like, oh, okay, no, I'll just forgive that person for what they've done, for the fact that they continually keep taking away my power from me. That is not the right answer. The right answer is you can forgive someone for what they've done to you and not put up with it, right? They are not mutually exclusive, but forgiveness does not mean resubjecting yourself to the same kind of emotional torture. So if there's a situation you have to walk away from, this is not to be used as an alibi to stay there. It is non-attachment. It means that this kind of relationship is possible for you if you are willing to make the correct choices. And the correct choices are being respectful of yourself, being in your power, hold on to this idea. So you have to be willing to walk away from what's not working for you in order to get to where you want to be. If relationships make you feel like the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, then they gotta go. Okay, the little parenthesis there at the end. I wish you all the very best. I will possibly be doing an eclipse reading. Good luck out there. Take care.